Welcome to the IT Career Energizer podcast. For anyone who wants to build and grow a career in IT, develop and improve your strengths and skills, be inspired and motivated by the successes of others, manage your career progression, and achieve your IT career goals. And now, your host, Phil Burgess.
Welcome to episode 71 of the IT Career Energizer podcast. My guest on today's show is Jennifer Wadella. Jennifer is a JavaScript developer, international speaker, foodie, fitness geek, and community organiser, most well known for her work creating innovative and highly sought-after programs for women in technology. Jennifer is also the founder of Kansas City Women in Technology, an organisation aimed at growing the number of women in technology careers in Kansas City. And amongst other things, Jennifer is Missouri's coolest woman according to Pure Wow. So Jennifer, can I ask you to expand on that brief introduction and tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Have been a nerd my entire life. And when I got into a career in technology, it was nice to be surrounded by other nerds. But one thing was lacking, and that was female nerds. So that's kind of the origin of me creating Kansas City Women in Technology. And a lot of the work I've done in the community and in the speaking space has revolved around lessons learned from that.
To me, that's something that's definitely changing. I've seen a lot more women come into the tech industry in my time, definitely. I think it was a little bit different for me. I actually started in a company where there were quite a few women involved in IT, which I think was highly unusual at the time.
Yeah, it was funny. We have a local developer conference, Kansas City Developer Con, and for the first time ever, we had a wait list in the ladies' bathroom, so you had to wait for a stall. That never happens at tech conferences for women.
No.
It was a big deal.
Can you maybe share a unique career tip with the IT Career Energizer audience? One they need to know and probably don't?
Absolutely. I hear a lot of horror stories, I feel like, about people working in just terrible environments with terrible bosses and terrible coworkers. And I feel like we're in an industry where a lot of us really love our craft. We love writing code. And so I hate seeing people stay in a situation where they're miserable because they think they shouldn't leave. If your day job isn't making you happy, it's making you miserable, my advice would be go find something that makes your heart sing. You're lucky enough to love writing code, do it somewhere where you're going to love doing it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think if you don't find fulfillment and enjoyment within your career, I think it's time to think about what you're doing.
Absolutely. And I promise there are workplaces out there that aren't toxic and have good leadership. So just find them.
Indeed. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Can you maybe tell us the story of your worst IT career moment or what you learned from that experience?
It was one of my first jobs out of college. So I was a very young woman at the time. The CEO of the company was not a great leader, but had put a project on me. And I kind of went over the project, looked at the resources we had, compiled what I thought we could execute within our resources and what we might have to push out for. And he didn't like this very much. And so he brought in somebody outside the company to run the project instead. And I kind of observed. And I remember one morning, a couple weeks after this, he cornered me. I was in one of the first people in the office, 6 a.m., and proceeded to just chew me out in his office about what a horrible person I was and what a horrible work ethic I was and everything like that. So that was one of the lowest moments because it was a really big assault against my character. But it was a really good life lesson of understanding, how to stand up for myself and how to value my self-worth when I had no control over a situation other than how somebody was reacting at me. It was pretty harsh. I cried in the bathroom a lot, but it was awful, but it was one of the best learning experiences I've ever had.
Sure. So that must have knocked your confidence somewhat.
Oh my gosh, I was devastated. For years afterwards, I was just mortified and just couldn't believe oh my gosh, I must be a really awful person. I must actually have a work ethic. And then I updated my resume after that conversation with him. I think it was a Wednesday, had a job interview Friday afternoon and had a job offer from that company Friday night. So clearly it wasn't all about me and my work ethic. But yeah, it was a good life lesson of taking crap from people and learning not to let it destroy my self-confidence.
Indeed. So you obviously took steps to address it straight away.
Absolutely. I had somebody in the office witness what happened who dragged me to a coffee shop across the street and to help me calm down. But yeah.
That's always useful to have, isn't it? Someone who's actually watching out for you. Yeah. Okay, so moving away from your worst moment, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your career highlight or greatest success.
I got into the tech industry in kind of weird way. I was a web developer. And at the time that I started, that really mostly meant, creating web pages out of HTML, doing some CSS. Maybe you would implement like some sort of jQuery plugin. But it was right around the time that the web was really rapidly expanding with JavaScript frameworks and creating single page applications. And so I'm learning, JavaScript along with all these frameworks and architectures from the ground up. And I remember really struggling with a particular library for just a really long time. And there were people at the company that I really looked up to who I thought were a lot smarter than me. Until one day, one of those people came up to me and they had a question in this framework that we had been trying to figure out. And I was able to answer his question. And so it was kind of an amazing moment for me to realize I can do this. I can be a really successful developer. And just because I started out behind doesn't mean I can't come out ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be quite self-inspiring almost when people come to you for advice and knowledge and so forth, and you actually realize that you're able to provide that support and input.
Yeah, exactly. With my nonprofit, Kansas City Women in Technology, we run a lot of mentoring programs. But one of the coolest things we see are women come in who don't think they can be a mentor, but once they do and start helping out, they realize exactly how much knowledge they do have to share, and just the empowerment that comes with it is the best feeling ever.
Yeah, no, very much so. What excites you about the future of the IT industry and careers in IT in particular?
I think a lot of people are drawn to this career path because it's all about problem solving and creativity. And God knows we automate anything that bores us. And so it's kind of this horizon, right, that's always going to keep expanding. And there's really no cap that we can see right now as far as problems to solve or things we can take on with technology. And so I think it's just really exciting to know there's always going to be something interesting to work on.
Are there any particular technologies that are of interest to you? Any particular direction we're going, which you particularly are inspired by?
I feel like IoT is a big deal just because there are so many possibilities, and we've entered this age, right, where you can get microchips and everything so damn cheap that there's a lot of exploration you can do on your own, fairly low cost, to figure out some really cool problems. And there's just a lot of interfacing and technology we can do there. This is stupid, but we just got the Bird scooters home where we live in Kansas City, which are the electric scooters that you can unlock with your phone. It's just the coolest damn thing, right? Like, it's not really that novel or inventive to have an electric scooter, but the fact that you can just unlock it and ride it around the city and drop it off wherever you need, I'm fascinated by things like that.
Yeah, that's great use of technology. They got something very similar in London, but it's obviously very much more pedal power than electric.
Gotcha, yeah.
Okay, we're going to move into the reveal round now. Are you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
Okay. So what first attracted you to a career in IT?
So I fell into this career by accident. I was a graphic designer, and I graduated into a terrible economy where people wouldn't hire me unless I could design and develop websites. So I kind of had to do it for survival. But before I really realized it was a career path, I was just building websites on the internet because I was bored and wanted to make like stuff for my women's Halo 2 team. So it was really the creative part and being able to like make something from nothing, you know?
What is the best career advice you've ever received?
I had a mentor tell me not to make myself fit the job, but make the job fit me. And I think that's really good advice because in technology, we have such this narrow facet of what we view as somebody successful. And if you try and force yourself into that mold, especially if you're a woman or a person from, a non-computer science degree background, that mold doesn't seem to fit. And so if you can find a way to bring your own unique skill set to the table, you're going to be way more successful that way.
If you were to begin your IT career again right now, what would you do?
Oh, man. Start younger. I mean, we run a lot of coding programs for kids, and it's just like, oh my gosh, they're going to be so much further ahead of where any of us are now. So just having that skill set, and not only that, but the faith in my own knowledge and learning and the ability to continue growing would have been a good thing to realize earlier in my career to help me grow faster and better.
And what career objectives are you currently focusing on?
I have been doing a lot of public speaking at technical conferences internationally, so that's been kind of a big goal of mine. Other than that, I'm just at this weird spot where I feel like I've had a couple rough jobs where either just the leadership was awful or a variety of things made the job not fun. And so right now I'm just pretty happy, like being at a place where I can be a happy little code monkey and not have a lot of other drama other than just being able to write code and be happy about the way I'm writing it.
And what's the number one non-technical skill that has helped you in your career so far?
I think a tie between leadership and just faith in myself. Because there's a lot of stuff that can really tear you down, right? Like if you're going into a bad code review and people maybe don't have great things to say, and understanding that, taking feedback like that is a reflection on me, but it doesn't have to define me and I can always get better and always grow, I think has really been a positive mindset to have. And I think that plays into leadership as well, and kind of like having faith in the decisions you make, but then being introspective enough to understand how your actions impact others.
Jennifer, can you share maybe a parting piece of career advice with the IT Career Energizer audience?
Yeah, I would say work hard and understand that there are no limits. I feel like a lot of people have this idea with technology that intelligence is kind of like an innate capped thing that they can't change. But just because you don't understand something right away doesn't mean you can't get to understanding it. It just takes hard work and discipline, and find ways that work for you to learn and grow. Don't look at what everybody else is doing. Don't try and emulate or be exactly like other thought leaders you see. Focus on yourself, what works for you, and the unique skills you have to share.
And finally, what's the best way we can find out more about you and connect with you?
You can go to my website at jenniferwadella.com. I mostly use LinkedIn for trolling recruiters, so that's not your best bet. But I'm fairly active on Twitter, live tweeting trashy reality TV shows like The Bachelorette, and sometimes I tweet about code.
Before we finish, I've got to ask you, in the introduction, I mentioned the Missouri's coolest woman according to Pure Wow. Can you maybe expand on how that came about?
Oh my gosh, that is the most hilarious story. I think it was like a Tuesday morning or something, and my Twitter feed was blowing up, and I'm like, oh God, it's 8 a.m., first thing on a Tuesday. Like, this can't be good, right? And somebody was tweeting about this article where I was the coolest woman, and I was like, dude, do they know I'm a programmer? Like, of all the adjectives anybody has ever used to describe me, cool has hardly been one of them. But it actually, when I read the article, it was a pretty badass list of just women from around the US and the different states, and I was really, really humbled to be included alongside a lot of the women on there, everything from people in politics to Olympic athletes. And I guess some people thought it was cool that I taught myself how to code and founded an organization to help more women get into coding. So yeah.
Excellent.
That makes for a good story.
Yes. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me on the IT Career Energizer podcast today. It's been great chatting with you.
Absolutely.
My thanks to Jennifer for being my guest on today's show. You can find full show notes on the website at itcareerenergizer.com/E71. In the next episode, I'll be talking with Chloe Condon, a former musical theatre actress and now a developer evangelist at Sentry. Thanks again for listening, and remember, if you're not growing your career, you're slowing your career. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the IT Career Energizer podcast. To find out more about building a successful career in IT, visit itcareerenergizer.com.